put it on the agenda.
Phil Tashrow, and I'm a resident of the town of Arundel. Mr. Hayes brought a good point, but Mrs. Hayes, Mr. Labby, Mr. Danlick, I think we resolved this issue maybe 25 years ago when the road weren't complete, if you remember. Clearview never finished and neither did Maplewood Drive. They stopped at, let me see, Danis's, and it stopped at Crowley's. And then we came to the board and had an approval. And what happened, all of us who bought lots in Arundel were perfectly happy and pleased. Again, we go back to the attorney, business and law, offer and acceptance. Then it was Mr. York who owned that property before Mr. Thomas. Nothing was said until now. And I'd like to have a clarification. Mr. Thomas's attorney said that Laurel Loop is in need of repair. It hasn't stopped our road commissioner from plowing it. It hasn't stopped our fire chief from going through the loop. And yet our buses are being stopped because supposedly it is not a town road, but yet the town is maintaining it. My concern is, will that lot be a conforming lot after it's changed? Right now, it's a conforming lot because the way the road is designed. Again, I go back to one thing. When Mr. York owned that property, he lived there for quite a few years. It should have been brought up then and there, not now. Whatever happened to statute of limitation? We as a neighborhood should have spoke up and said, this is not right. It's not just one piece of property. There are other properties. Mr. Thomas's attorney mentioned this. It's a Pandora's box. Once opened, Mr. Du Bois is right. Who's going to pay the bill? If we come to the board and say, our property is town used. The town is using our portion of our property as a public street. What's to stop us from saying to you, fix it. We want this road ripped out and we want our property back. Again, it's a Pandora's box that the taxpayers will have to fix. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Why aren't the school buses allowed to go around the loop?
Right, has nothing to do with
Okay,
the condition of the road,
Sorry,
right,
just a question.
right. It's nothing to do with the town road.
Yeah.
What incidents that's happened on that road.
Do we have any other comments? Oh, Diane?
Diane Robbins, Arundel. I think you would find that the buses were using that loop. I have seen video of people driving in the wrong way into the loop. And I actually saw the bus have to slam their brakes on and a little kid got hurt.
Diane, I don't think that's the purpose of this meeting. I
What
think
I'm
we should be
saying is-
discussing that at this meeting.
Well, what I'm saying is this loop is used by the buses.
Incorrect. Okay, we're incorrect. I talked to the sheriff's office and there's no problem, okay? The loop is not big enough, the road is not wide enough.
We need to.
It's-
Wait a minute.
It is currently being used by a bus. There is a special ed bus that is currently using that loop. I think one of the things that we need to know is that with this hammerhead, will the buses that would have been using this loop or are using this loop, is that good enough for them to be able to use?
A hammerhead would have to be built to town specifications. Those town specifications are to allow a fire truck to get in and get out of there. So we would not allow a hammerhead or any other, or the planning board would not allow any other type of road to be built that does not meet the specifications that allows emergency vehicles to be in or out.
Right. What I'm trying to figure out is that if Laurel Loop is gone and it's just the hammerhead, how are the buses going to use that area? How are they going to turn around?
The buses don't need to go in that area. Why would the buses need to go in that area?
They're already going in that area, is
Okay.
what I'm trying to say.
So they
is
would
that-
go in and they would back out.
But they're using the loop
Yeah,
and they're going around.
Yeah.
How are they going to turn around?
same way a fire truck would.
Yeah, they would use the
Yeah.
hammerhead.
Same way a fire truck would.
Anyway, then I'm sorry I asked that question. That was completely off the subject. Someone else is raising their hand.
My name is Aaron Clark, I'm resident.
Would you come down and use the microphone, please?
I think I can.
Well, it's for the video also. It's for folks that are, right, because it's being recorded, so. Thank you.
What I understand is that the issue is a hammerhead. Now, what I understood a hammerhead to be is for the town plow trucks to back into to turn around. Now, if he's using the hammerhead to access the property, it's no longer a hammerhead, it's a road. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Any other questions before I close this item? All right. That's it. We're on to the next item. Thank you.
So sorry, just for clarification. So we're just waiting for the planning board's action, then we can consult with the town manager about scheduling potentially a special meeting to.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
The next item on the agenda is the special town meeting warrant and approval.
Yes, Madam Chairman, if you recall, we had three ordinance provisions that we were seeking some changes on. The first one was and we've already had a public hearing on it, was the R1 district and increase in the lot coverage for municipal owned properties within that district. That would be Article 2 on the request. The next one, Article 3, would be some changes that both the Public Works Director and myself had brought forward a few time back on the street and sidewalk excavation ordinance. I provided copies of that entire ordinance and the proposed changes in red within that ordinance. You recall, we talked about it probably a long time ago, but you folks felt that it was something that we wanted to change. The things that we were changing within the Exhibit B was the from highway foreman to director of public works, wherever it showed up in the exhibit or in the ordinance, and then the crosscut, the bond for crosscuts, openings, and so on and so forth. We increased those as a result of further review of those as well. So that was the ones that we had on exhibit on Article 3, and then Article 4 was the proposed changes that we were trying to make in the street design and construction ordinance in relation to petitions moving forward, to make it a little more procedural for the petitioner to gather additional signatures other than just signatures within the petition or within the roadway or adjacent properties prior to coming forward. So those were the three that we talked about putting on a special town meeting warrant. I had a discussion with board member Dan Dubois, thinking that we may want to, in his opinion, he felt that maybe Article 4 on the citizens petition process, we want to hold that off and have a few more public hearings to gather more public input on those prior to making that change within that ordinance. So those are the things to discuss tonight. And whether or not you want to move forward with these, with this warrant. I have it planned now. If you approve tonight, I have it planned for you to sign it and to have the special town meeting warrant at your meeting on April 28th, so we can get those approved. Specifically, the biggest one for us is the lot coverage question in Article 2 on the warrant. And then tonight, Phil and I talked a little bit about the street and sidewalk excavation ordinance, and I think we solved our issues right now, Phil, on that, right? Okay, good. So the only changes that we're proposing there were the ones that are in red. So.
All right, go ahead.
I will add, and I apologize to the board. I know that I kind of pushed this at the last meeting, this Article 4, the citizens petition, but I think this is an important enough piece that it warrants more public input than just a special town meeting. A special town meeting is only going to have, if we're lucky,
We may have what we got tonight.
we won't have what we have tonight, or when we have what we have left tonight, but
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's an important piece, and I think it's probably best that we get more input from the rest of the town. That's just my point. That's kind of why I asked Keith about it, so.
So what I did is I gave you two draft warrants, one with that Article 4 in there, one with it removed. So whatever you decide to do tonight, if you decide to remove it, then we would have just two articles, the R1 district, the lot coverage question, and the grammatical changes that we're recommending in the street side and sidewalks excavation ordinance.
Comments, ideas, gentlemen?
I'm okay with leaving Article 4 in. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. I don't think anybody's gonna pay attention to it. We should have consistency between state statute and our ordinance with respect to citizens petitions. So just my view.
Bill, Jason?
Yeah, I make a motion to me, accept Articles 1 through 4.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion's been made and seconded. Any comments? Then all in favor? And opposed? One opposed.
Okay.
It passes.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Send it on down.
I stand by the board's vote.
Question about Article 4, there, would that be effective?
No, you're all set.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect you, in my view. You already received your information. You put it in during the process that was available to you, and we would honor it, at this point. Yep.
Yeah.
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I did, didn't I? Sorry about that. Do you want to add a line and
Yeah.
put your name in? I can quickly put your name in, so you can sign it.
We
He was the moving party, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we probably should change it. Why don't you?
Yeah.
Before you leave tonight, I will change this and then you all can sign it.
I never even noticed.
I mean, I'm happy you picked that up. I can go do that right now once we wrap up.
Okay. You're gonna have copies of this for us at that meeting anyway, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Need that. And action on the food truck.
Yeah, and finally, we have the food trucks. I think we have 4 actions on Something's Fishy, Main Diner, Bowlicious, and Larry's Berries.
Never.
Make a motion to accept all 4, unless you want them individually.
Nope, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded.
I'll just stick to my ground moving forward. I think we should require tastings at all these food trucks.
Yeah.
They should, right.
Yeah. That would be nice.
In remembrance of
Okay,
Jason
all in
Nettle,
favor?
that will be going
Yeah.
forward.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Yeah. All right. And we have both payable, both warrants, payable and
And payroll.
payroll.
Sorry about
I only signed one, which I didn't see the other one, so.
They're both there. Blue one and the little one underneath. No, yeah, that one.
Signature sheet, I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
so we have payables and payroll. Yeah. Made a motion, we approve them both.
Yep.
We have a second?
Yep.
Seconded by Dan.
Do we have a vote on that?
Not yet. All signed?
Oh, yeah.
All in favor? There you go.
I'm gonna, once you adjourn, please stay. I'm gonna go and clean this up and then have you sign this again before you leave tonight.
Okay, any other business?
Yeah, I wanted to add, sorry if I go.
Yep, go ahead.
When we had this discussion, I wanted to ask Terry about this. So the townway acceptance of Laurel Lane and Oak Ridge Terrace, what does that do to our public works?
This one. Project does that. Okay, probably gonna add. Something. Add on. But keep the front coming in at all the same time, so that everybody has the same amount of mileage. So we make one truck out, 3-4 hours, and you're truck out too. So, but. And my thought were, people, they want to be on some, put down, that. That's the one.
I mean, I think any subdivision with the crew that we have is tasking us at this point, and we got some very big ones, yeah.
Oh,
So,
there's your petition.
like I said, it's gonna add. Your burden to them. Because you know. Cost, maintenance.
Well, I mean, that's why these folks pay taxes, right? Yeah, yep.
This private way, never be a town road. Then the next thing you know, they're trying to, petition the town, take it over. It's like. So that adds to. All the works, but, It's a.
Yep.
Anything else?
Well, you guys are still here, so you guys have an HOA now. Yeah. So a portion of your funds go into that road maintenance now,
Wow, we haven't had to maintain that.
but you must be putting money aside for like repaving and shoulders and stuff like that.
Very neat, so we do need to get a better budget for that.
But the town takes the road, your HOA fees go down.
Right now, we're just collecting enough to cover liability insurance and state filings and HOA and a little bit extra.
When we, the understanding was that it was built to the specs of the road. We were well aware of this process all along, and that would be something we had to take on. We had hoped to do this last year. We had waited, there's a goal, the top coat has to be on for next amount of months, we just missed that. And we did that last year. I think the first lot owners have gone on about 4 years there, 3 years of itself. So, but that was kind of in dealing with the developer, we understand that everything was built to be specs for takeover and submission.
Any other questions? Anything else?
Just one other thing on my.
Yep, go ahead.
So Keith and I had a meeting last week. I will no longer be an Arundel resident come May first.
Mhm.
So that's gonna leave my position vacant, and you guys might have already talked about this privately or whatever, I'm
No.
not sure. So you're gonna have like a 40-day span of either appointing someone to fill my spot for 40 days or let it ride until the election on June. So next meeting will be my final select board meeting as a resident. I didn't want to miss the end of my term fulfillment, but I don't have a choice. So that's, I don't know if you want to discuss that.
What's our town charter? Is it the same as the? like
Well, I
ours?
provided you a quick memo on that, sent it all to you.
You did?
Yeah, I emailed it to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're within, the select board can now wait until the next annual town meeting. If it was,
Yeah.
yeah, if it was 90 days or more, then they would have had to call a special election and then get it appointed that way. But we're well within that, so the board's discretion would be to hold off and let it happen on the annual town meeting.
And there are two names on the ballot, so it doesn't make a,
Correct.
Anything else?
but there will be two names on the ballot.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We have a second?
So moved
We have a second? All in favor?
at 8:24,
Yeah, and we're
26.
gonna wait for.
Yeah, you
until-
gotta wait for me.
Wait for Keith.
Yeah, please.